Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you just joined us, this is This Morning on ITV. You can call it TMI Sunday's edition. On this discussion segment, we're taking a look at the costs of governance. Yes, 48 ministers to gulp over 8 billion naira in 4 years. According to report, the cabinet of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the largest so far since Nigeria's democracy. Some of the opinion that this may just be a burden too heavy for the country to carry. Some are suggesting that we should make the House, talking about the Senate and the House of Representatives, to be on part-time basis to really, minimize costs. And someone is increasing the cost burden of the nation. One man in Nigeria came out to say, look, 48 ministers, some of their functions are just the same, function duplicity. That is a waste of finances, and it will not all go well for this country, because right now, believe it or not, the country is broke. So how do you really intend to run an effective and efficient economy if we are having so much financial burden? With me here in the studio to talk about this, lecturer from Shaka Polytechnic, Jimmy Oko, still very much here. Jimmy, really like you being around to really share your thoughts and opinion in this particular discussion.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, Mayor is not available right now. He's so tied up. He just gave us some time because he's calling from the U.S., New York City to be precise, via Zoom. Another guest just couldn't make it to the studio, but I just say in broadcasting, the show definitely must go on. So, Jimmy, what do you feel about this? Over 8 billion, that is 8.6 billion naira, to be gulped by 48 ministers in 4 years. The biggest, how would I put it now, Federal Executive Council so far since the inception of Nigeria's democracy.
All right, thank you very much, my brother. I think, why all of us, I think we should say now that all eyes are on the government.
Not on the judiciary right now, now the government of the day.
Not judiciary now. Why all the eyes are on the government now is because we understand what the situation actually is, just now as we speak. You know that our people say that a man whose house is on fire should not be found discussing newspaper at the junction. Even though discussion of newspaper is very important, it's not a bad thing, but at least your house is on fire. What the president has done, adding to the size of the federal cabinet, 48 ministers for God's sake, it does show, I'm not saying that he does not know, but it shows, it's a signal that the federal government we have now as we speak does not seem to understand what the problem actually is. The burden that we actually face, the increasing level of poverty on Nigerians, the struggle that every average Nigerian is going through right now, that's actually the signal that we get from it. Otherwise, if the administration of Olusegun Obasanjo, the first in this democratic era, in his own wisdom, and that is the time Nigeria got enough from oil, yes, was able to use 42 ministers. And the government following then reduced to 39. That's late Yar'Adua's government. Then when Jonathan came on board, he said no. He reduced to 33. Then when Buhari came, yes, we were trying to even cope with what Buhari did, extending the gate to 42. And Bola Ahmed Tinubu has come, who understand the situation now. A time where the minimum wage can no longer take anybody, where you ask people to take home 30,000 naira a month, where prices of the essential goods are on the increase in the market, where businesses are not able to cope anymore, a situation where the price of fuel has increased from less than 200 naira to over 600 naira, and diesel encroaching 1,000 naira, a situation where exchange rates for dollar is encroaching 1,000 naira, and pounds more than 1,000 naira, and a situation that warranted the new president addressing Nigerians and saying, don't worry, just bear, persevere. The pain is not going to last for so long. At that said instance, the president is coming up to say 48 ministers. And if you look at it, not even the number that is most caring, the worst is that the ministries were duplicated. You have one minister for steel, just steel development. When did that become a full ministry? A minister for solid minerals. What is steel? Then all of these.
Good question. What is steel?
Yes. So why is it? Why can't one minister not say this? Okay, do you understand now that even private organizations are trying to do downsizing? A few days ago, I walked into a discussion where we found some persons, young people. They were just lamenting. They said that they teach in one private school in the city, and that a message has been sent to them while preparing for September resumption, that a message has been sent to them not to bother coming. That the school is passing through a hard time. They will not be able to increase a school fees so much.
You continue
for now.
Yes.
So because of that, they are going to stay at home. So right now they are looking for alternatives. That is private institution. But the question is, those private institutions that are laying off workers, it is economic sense. You can't blame them. What is it? When you are in a business, in every organization, it is what is coming in that determines what you are going to spend. And now you cannot have something coming in, reducing, while you are still spending more. So that is the idea behind that. And they are, okay, and what they are simply doing is, like that school I mentioned just now, what they will do is this: okay, you were teaching mathematics before, you were teaching social studies and whatever subject. Okay, this one I was teaching one, please help us to teach two now. Why is it that the federal government cannot do so? Why is it that President Tinubu cannot cope with at least the 42 he met? We are not even saying reduce now. Why increasing? Why duplicating the offices? All of these, comparing with other countries, like the United States of America that has just 15 ministers, Germany, 15, then Malaysia has less than 15, then yes, most of the countries around. The largest for now, that is even facing a whole lot of trial, is Canada, a whole country that increased theirs from 33 to 39. And the whole citizens are shouting, no, it's too much. But Nigeria, we are increasing to 48. And the whole thing, if you look at it, my brother, what it shows is that the president does not understand, he does not seem to understand what Nigerians are going through, and those around him do not also understand. It is all about political rewardees surrounding him. People who helped you to win election. You must sacrifice the blood of Nigerians to give their reward at all costs. And that is what you are saying. Because as it is not even going to end now. What we have, there are indications that more ministries are going to be created. More ministers are going to be appointed in coming days. Because we have indications like that. So it doesn't show the understanding of the current issues of Nigeria by the government.
All right.
Not at all.
No, from their own defense line, they are saying that, look, for us to have this and separate some ministries is for each minister to be able to focus on a singular task. For instance, Minister of Solid Minerals and Steel used to be one ministry, but now it's still on your own, so I can focus. And when the man came about, he said, look, he's going to focus on rejuvenating the Ajaokuta Steel Company to make Nigeria a strong nation in steel export. I don't think that by breaking these into various segments, giving them singular focus, that will really enhance effectiveness in reshaping the country's economy.
Okay, thank you very much. To give specific duties would have actually made sense. But the only problem is this. Must it be called ministry? Must the man be called a minister before he says, okay, we have given you a specific job, go and revamp the steel company? Must he be called minister? No. The thing is this, by law and all of the traditions we have in the country, once you are called a minister, so many things are involved. What other ministers earn, you will also earn. Do you know how many vehicles are going to be given to you, that are going to be using? As you are going on the way, convoy is going to follow you. And you know what? Petrol is over 600 naira per liter. So all of these engines are going to be burning the fuel, burning the money every day because of the mistake of calling everybody minister. Why? Okay, is it not possible? Can still be a department under the Ministry of Solid Minerals? If it is called a department, okay, you enter the Ministry of Solid Minerals, and you now see a department called Steel Development.
That's over, yeah.
And that department, this is just your job, focus on it. What wrong is that? So I think there is no justification anywhere, not at all. It is only going to cause wastages, increase the wastages that have always been in our government, and not until we have persons who are ready to sacrifice to tell Nigerians the truth and say this is what we need to do. We cannot move forward in this country, because we can't have a situation where people are suffering hunger, killing people every day, and people are not able to afford the basic things of life. And you have persons who are still increasing very avoidable expenditure. It is a huge grip, pressure on our cost of governance, and it does not seem that the government is ready, the federal government is ready to help us in that line at all.
All right, now you are talking about some companies downsizing to really make sure, so to speak, that they are able to stay afloat. And from what some persons are saying is like, look, this is another form of job creation. At least it's going to, how will I put it now, act as a buffer to the unemployment rate in the country. Take it up from that angle.
Okay. If you, all right. When we say employment, employment does not mean where people get money.
You must earn a living.
It is all about productivity. Yes. It's about productivity. So if you have ministers who are going to just be collecting money, and at the end of the day, you are not getting what a private organization will be able to achieve with 200 million naira. You are going to spend trillions of naira to get it. Then it's wastages. You cannot be in government as you want to help the country to make money, and yet you spend more money than you are going to make. It's not going to be possible. Right now, as we speak, we face a situation, we must tell ourselves the truth in this country. We face a situation where the debt, the total debt we have as a country right now is almost 50 trillion naira. 49.89, so yeah, trillion naira. And a large section of that debt is foreign. The meaning of that is that we are under serious pressure. The pressure is we own that foreign debt to different countries. And the exchange rate is not favoring us, meaning that it's going to keep jumping. The last quarter of the year 2022, the DMO, Debt Management Office, published that we spent 550.50 billion to service debt that quarter. Then when it came to the first quarter of this year, it became 800 and something billion. That means within 2-3 months, it jumped by 300 billion. That is because the exchange rate, because we need to quickly reduce our external debt. as much as we can. Then as we speak now, the second quarter that just ended, the figure was 1.26 trillion to service debt. So if you are not using this money for Nigerians, but you are just giving it out because of debts which are avoidable if we are able to redirect our expenditure. So the federal government has not, it's not, the fact is that it's not that the government has refused to settle the issue, but the fact that they have not even given indications of hope to Nigerians that it is going to be settled in the next coming years. So it's quite decryable.
Are you not saying that our debt profile, instead of it being reduced, being increased by this action of the federal government?
So much! Because, okay, look at it, my brother. When we're in school, now basic economics those days, teachers taught us that the income of an individual or government or whatever, they called it Y. And they say it equals C plus S. Meaning your income is only applied in two ways, either savings or consumption. And the teacher did not stop there. He told us that how you apply this income on these two variables is what determines how rich you are going to be. He told us if the way you ration that's your income on these two variables is what tells people whether you are wise or not. And after a while, they asked us to change the S to I, meaning Y equals C plus I now, consumption plus investment. Because it is expected that what you are saving is going to become investment. Yes. The meaning of that is that you consume little and invest more, because it is investment that shows the future. What this federal government has done, led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, what they have done is simply increasing the consumption. That's recurrent expenditure.
But what about what we take to gain by giving this minister's portfolio? For instance, for, let's say, okay, fine, for the refinery, talking about the Minister of Petroleum and all that, we're still trying to, get the person and get the Minister of Petroleum. That is on one hand. For steel, the other hand. Mineral, on the other hand. I mean, these are like, I want to put it now, separation of power, specialization. You focus on this, get us something from that particular segment or segment of the society you've been given charge of. And economically speaking, division of labor, don't you think it's more effective and efficient?
We are not against division of labor now.
Yes.
In this very discussion, we are trying to say that, yes, you can do division of labor, but let the nomenclature change. It mustn't be called minister before you allow division of labor. Okay, two of us are discussing here now. You are the one asking questions.
Yes.
Two of us cannot be asking questions. For a smooth discussion, let one person be the minister, let the other one serve under that one and be called DG, because what we give to ministers are different from what you will give to the director general of an agency. So let that one be a department, head of department. Can't department do something? Yes. We are saying, okay, let the minister. Okay, for instance, the one we mentioned just now, the Ministry of Solid Mineral.
Yeah.
Let that one be a ministry. We have a minister. Then let him now go and do the division of labor in the ministry. You must not call everybody minister because they worked for you during election, because they helped you to win election. We are killing this country. Everybody, if you look at it, yes, the pressure is on the president now. This one wants to get this one wants to get that. The president went, okay, yes, the appointment of the Minister of FCT. The most decryable part again is that these ministers are even two in most of them. We have a minister of state.
Duplicity of function.
Yes, who does that? Are there not governors that have governors and deputies? Can't one, okay, what is the function of Minister for State in this country? Nothing. FCT is giving minister and Minister for State. And if you look at the appointment of the FCT ministers, you will agree with me that the president is actually rewarding his political friends. Because we understand that there was no way in the Nigeria politics that we know, there was no way that this type of administration would have sourced for a person from an opposition party. Especially in a ministry that does not require a certain person, one professional. You cannot say, okay, because of he's a professional in this area, this all of that, that is why we have to go and bring him. No. But this is just FCT administration. Then, and we all understood what happened, what transpired between them during the election. That is to tell you that what the president is simply doing is just giving rewards. This is not the bottle of wine to give to political friends who helped you win election. And we are saying, if you had done this in 1997, in 1999, then maybe we would have cried so much. But at the time, that is so a very hard time like this that Nigerians are struggling to pass through, it is quite absurd. And it's not something that we find funny in Nigeria at all. Yes, not at all.
All right, now, as it stands right now, you say you're sensing that he might just increase the number of ministers. What gave rise to that thought pattern of yours?
Okay. The other day, okay, you mentioned just now, the Minister for Petroleum, we don't have anybody like that. We are only thinking that the president may be reserving that to himself. And even if he's now reserving that to himself, you can now see that he is not actually talking about division of labor. If he's reserving that position to himself, it means it's not division of labor he's after. What he's actually doing is just rewarding his friends. Then, okay, the other day, a minister was appointed, the one from Edo State here, was appointed for youth, and later was changed to NDDC. I'm not sure a replacement has been made now. So there are still calls from different quarters. Please introduce a new minister for youth. For youth. And yes, at least in the coming days, you are going to hear things like that. Another minister will come out for youth. Maybe one for that petroleum and all of that. Yes.
All right, now what advice do you have? Because I know you have somewhere to go to. You have to be in the house of the Lord and all that. I have to call it a wrap right now. What advice do you have for Mr. President? Because people are saying for the way it's going, Nigerians may just be choking massively, strongly, when we talk about the stench of death ravaging the country.
Yes, the president needs to be very decisive at this time. He needs to rise beyond political sentiments. He needs to remember that winning election requires politicking. But using the power as a president is no more politics. This is the real life job to save the people. It's not about politics. The president must drop politicking while serving as president. And it is never too late to change what has been done wrong. Let him go check everywhere. Having 48 ministers is not feasible for us now. So let us tell ourselves the truth. It is not too late for Mr. President to go back and rename these persons. Merge the ministries. Oh, in 2011, what we are running away from, Stephen Oransaye's reports, remember?
Yes.
One major aspect of that report by Stephen Oransaye's panel was to reduce cost of governance by merging ministries and NTAs.
Yes.
No president wants to do that. Let us advise Mr. President to hide under that panel. Let him come back and say, oh, yes, let us follow this panel now. Oh, in following this panel, this and this ministry, please come together.
That's the big measure.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
So if he doesn't do that, the pressure on our cost of governance is not going to be friendly, and especially now that the situation is not easy for Nigerians at all. Just look at it. Our debt that keeps rising. You know that even when we have debt, it is not a crime to actually borrow. Government can borrow, yes. Or if you talk to them, that is what they will tell you. They'll tell you, come on, America owes debt, all the countries in the world, they owe debt. Yes, they all owe debt. But when you borrow, do not use it for consumption. You cannot borrow and channel it to consumption. Then it means you want to kill yourself. There's no hope. So when you borrow, channel to investment. Even if you are not going to pay back with other money, let the investment generate money and pay back. So if you look at two, the foreign debts especially needs to be worked on. If the ratio between the local and foreign debt, the margin is still wide. The federal government needs to concentrate on reducing foreign debts because it's foreign debt that is affected by forex.
Forex, yes.
And if you say local debt, at least it's still within the country. It's still within the economy. So you can actually take advantage, more advantages of local debt and start working on reducing external debt. And if you are to do that, it must go in line with the most viable aspects of our economy, which is petroleum. Okay. While we are encouraging other sectors to come up, the petroleum, the federal government must, as a matter of fact, not the promises they are making every day. We want to start production of oil, this, that, not promises. They must come in the next few months. Just tell us 3 months' time, 4 months' time. If you are serious, it does not take so much to fix refinery, for God's sake. Do that, produce oil in this country. Then if you do so, you will see the forest growing to our favor again. Because that is a large part of our economic indicators. So when that one, when the forest stops turning the negative side on the Nigerian economy, then we can now relax a bit. Not a situation where you owe debt.
You borrow debt to service debt.
You borrow to service debt, and the forest is increasing, and you are still increasing the cabinet. And that is going to keep increasing the current expenditure, which is not good at all.
Thank you so much. I will have you till about 10 o'clock, but you really have to go. I understand, but your opinions are just right on point. He's a lecturer in the accounting department, so he's going to give you the Y, the I, the X, the Y investment and all that, saying what we are doing right now is a no-no for the economy. Mr. President, let's just see how far you go with this. I'm not saying if you choose to do the right thing by merging the ministries, the department and agencies, it may not just be like, there'll be no food for the boys. The question now is, are you going to put the boys to the detriment of the Nigerian economy? Yes, the boys must eat, but no, but there are ways of doing it. There are ways of doing it. We need to be cautious because our debt profile is alarming. It's choking. The stench is really killing Nigerians, economically speaking. Look at fuel, look at the forex, look at everything. Just negativity. We need positivity right now. So the right thing should definitely be done. Jimmy, thank you so much for coming on today's show.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate the wonderful analysis.
Thank you very much.
We'll go on a break. We'll be right back. Don't go away.